Heyo, my Planet Zoo friends. Johnny5 Alive here, and welcome back to some more Planet Zoo Let's Play. So in the last episode, you would have saw me basically restart my park and just get it to a point where we're making money. So I took everything down, as you guys saw, and we're basically starting fresh, but we're trying to do things as detailed as possible this time around with the 250,000 that we had. Sucks because in the last save, before our save went corrupt, we had 1.7 million or something crazy, and I just didn't want to sit around and wait anymore. I mean, I had been farming cash on 2 different parks now for like basically 2 days straight, and I'm just tired of it. So I just want to play the game. I want to build some stuff, and that's what we're doing. So we only had the 250,000, and I was like, that's plenty, but I'm getting a little bit concerned, and you'll see by the end of the episode that we're, I think, down to like 150,000. So I quickly spent 100 grand, and I'm like, probably not even a quarter away of what I want to do. But worst case scenario, we put the lions down, we put the hippos in, and we just try to make some money again, and hopefully don't go bankrupt in the process. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to do something a little bit more unique with the terrain. So rather than, you know, in our last park, we were just kind of building as we go, I figured I would start with something big and sweeping and crazy, try to come up with some sort of crazy concept. And I did talk about trying to do something where the lions were above the hippos. So that's what you see here is this upper area. I want that eventually to be the lions, and then the big giant bowl that we just made is going to be the hippos. Now I want all these different interactive paths and stuff, overhead viewing, underground viewing, all sorts of interesting things. I want to do something a little bit more dynamic and really push the beta before our time is up and try to come up with something cool. So here I'm looking at how big the glass panels are, trying to gauge what I'm able to do. So the hippos obviously love a massive area, so that's why I've planned this so big. It might look a little bit crazy on how much I actually freaking built in terms of like space, but the hippos, we've talked about it, they need, like, in the end, if you get a full herd, they need like 30,000 square meters, 15,000 land, 15,000 water. So I don't even know what that is because there was no way for me to tell. I even tried, I think, I made a jump cut and I tried making a fake perimeter and testing it, and it won't tell me. So for whatever reason, when I click on a barrier circle, it doesn't give me, it has to have an animal in it or something for me to tell. So I was like, screw it. You know what? We're just winging it. If it's too small, if it's too big, whatever. We're just, let's just get going. Let's make something. So you can see there that I dug out some stuff underground, and there's like a spiral staircase going down. That's for my underground viewing area. Somebody in the comments had said something about doing an eating area where you can see animals and stuff. Now, well, they suggested, I think, lizards and different animals like that. We're just gonna make an underground eating area where you can watch the hippos, and I'm actually really thrilled on how that's starting to turn out. I'm not, at the time of me talking and doing this recording, it's not quite finished, but it's, all the stuff is in. Like, I'd say the bare bones is in, and it just needs some polish. So I'm looking forward to just finishing up the details in the eating area. That'll be the next episode, because with this one I was like, okay, like maybe I'll just do it all at once. But then as I'm doing this big broad strokes and getting this whole area fleshed out, we do finish this area in terms of like the landscaping, the water, the painting, but now it just needs is like all the little touch-up stuff, some plants, and whatever else, like the stuff that the enclosure requires, like all the hippos, what they need, their desires. So we need to sprinkle that stuff around. But we get the staffing area buried in there, hidden from the guests, and it's definitely my best staff area so far because it's a custom one. It's not very decorative, but it's like hidden. I did like this incognito thing, and you'll see that later on. So the speed build goes for about 15 minutes of me just fleshing it out, And then after that 15 minutes, we'll go in and take a closer look at it and give you guys a little sneak peek. And then we'll end off the episode there. And then in tomorrow's, you'll see the dynamics of the food court being incorporated. And I just got to figure out what I'm going to do next, because I do want to like decorate the upper area, and I don't know how the perimeter works. We did a spotlight recording with Game Face, and I don't know if you guys are watching this now, you probably haven't seen it yet. Now, hold on. I gotta hold that thought. See what I'm doing with the barriers here? That's not the best way to do it. I was just gonna jam it into the side. I got it to work this way, but what you actually want to do is completely flatten the ground and then bring the terrain up around the barrier. I didn't realize you could do that until later. I thought the barrier would kind of like, it wouldn't get covered, because when you try to cover a path with terrain, it won't let you. I thought the barrier would kind of have the same problem, but I kind of saw as I'm doing it there, I'm like, oh, there's a better way of doing this. So just like flatten the terrain, bring out your glass, stretch it up, and then fill in after. That's a better way of doing it. But I got it done, and you can see I filled it with water, and I was like, ooh. So you can actually fill the water up to the glass. So what was I saying about Game Face? Game Face showed us something about null barriers, and you can basically make a fake parameter or barrier. And it's like, well, why would you want to do that? Well, you can see that like my cliff that goes all the way around, it's a giant bowl. That serves as a barrier, so you don't need to make a fence. So if you make a null barrier around it, then you can at least assign keepers to said enclosure, or you can drop animals in said enclosure. It needs something to tell it, hey, this is an enclosure, so you can basically put the null barrier in, which is a fake enclosure. Now, I don't know if I want to use that, because around the whole path, you're gonna have guests looking down into the big pit, but you would want some kind of safety rails. Now, the only thing I have a problem against doing the safety rails on the pathways is it does it on both sides. You can't choose to just put the rails on one side of the path. So I would have these basically double railed pathways all the way around, and I think that's just too much rail. I just want the rail on the cliff side. So what I could do is just put a chain link fence or something all the way around it, and just it's there for decorative reasons. That's easier than making a custom fence for sure. Or what I could do is use that as the enclosure, but that might be a little bit weird because it's going to require a gate. So I'd have to like run. If that's the main parameter, I would have to run it at some point down into the pit. And that might look weird. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna go about doing the fence yet, but we'll figure it out. I think I'm leaning towards just doing a null barrier around the whole bottom, connecting it to the glass, connecting it to the staff area, and then just do a fake fence up top for the guests, and that should be good. So as you can see, I'm putting in, it's underground. I'm putting in these staff buildings. They're just the bare bones ones, the non-decorated ones, because I'm gonna put like a panel over top, and we're gonna cover them up. I'm having issues. I've been having this issue a lot with this game. Is not snapping to paths for some reason, and they're not being a good explanation why. But I've been fidgeting trying to get these things into place. But I'm basically gonna cover this up. And I was looking at the different power options, because now we do have everything researched. But somebody said in the comments that you didn't need your lake to be fully encompassed by water generators. It just needs to be touched by a water generator. So that's great news, because now I don't have to like find a central area for the water generator, especially for a lake that big. That water generator reaches out just enough to touch the, like, covers like half of the lake that we made. And that means that, yeah, this one generator that's hidden underground should be able to cover it. Now, I don't know if generators can, or not generators, but purifiers, I don't know how much they can provide, like if there's a certain volume of water per purifier. So we might need to, I don't know, well, if we see the water's getting dirty, we have room to slap in like 2 or 3 more in this little underground shelter area that we're building. So that's good. We have our power supply here. So basically I want to start hiding my staff facilities and making them kind of hidden to the guests so you don't even know they're there. So that's what I'm doing here, is basically giving them a facade, a front facing thing. We're bringing up the walls and it's all hidden underground, and eventually, I haven't quite cleaned up the top yet, but at the top of the stairs we'll just put a bunch of rocks around the staircase and some, you know, weeds and some plants and maybe a sign, and you'll never know it's there. So the guests, the staff will be sneaking downstairs into this underground layer and they have everything they need there. The keeper huts, the staff break rooms, everything. The only thing that they don't have is the freaking trade centers at the front of the park right now. I still have to find a good spot for that, because they're gonna, when I drop all the animals in, they're gonna have to run all the way to the front of the park and then all the way back. It's gonna be a mess. So I might just like put one down temporary and then find a spot that's more centralized to hide the trade center. Having a trade center down there could have worked, but we'll still have the same problem when we get to our lions and other exhibits. They're gonna have to go all the way to the center of the park and all the way back. So that's what you get for building a big sprawling area like this. So it is what it is, but we'll sort it out. So yeah, hidden underground, and then we have to build some sort of like enclosure wall. And I think this is where I realized that all you want to do is flatten the ground, and then yeah, this is where I came to the conclusion. Then you just cover it up after. So yeah, this is technically our enclosure wall, and then the pit, the cliff edges serve as the rest of the barrier. So we're gonna have to attach a null barrier to that and bring it all the way around the cliff edges, attach that null barrier to our glass, and then we have a fully circled barrier. And then that brick wall's, you know, you can see the brick wall, and maybe I chose the wrong option there with brick, but I don't know. We needed a grade 4 wall to keep the hippos in, so we didn't want them breaking down that wall and going up the stairs and into the park, so I had to go with the brick. It's either that or like corrugated, no, not even, a chain link fence. We didn't have a whole lot of options. I could cover the rest of it up with terrain, but it would start looking too moundy. So what I think we'll do is we'll leave the brick wall there and cover it in vines and ivy, and, you know, put some shrubs around it and just try to camouflage it a little bit, and I think that should look pretty good. But yeah, it's pretty cool, like underground thing. Like they go down, they have everything they need underground, and they can take their breaks down there. There's a large keeper hut for like, I think a large keeper hut holds 6 of them. So they'll have a large keeper hut right in front of the hippo area. So they should be able to go in there and get lots of food. Lots of keepers should be able to tend the hippos all at once. And the door's exactly adjacent. They open that door and boom, they're in this giant sprawling area. So they're not going far at all. And I'm really happy with the way that turned out. And it's definitely trying something new with this game. You know, it's the beta. We lost our last park. Rather than just making a nice zoo and playing it safe, I decided, let's just go crazy. Let's try something a little bit more, you know, unconventional. Now, I don't think you'll ever see anything like this in real life. It's not realistic at all, but it's epic. It's something different. So I think that was the way to go with this, and you know, I'm pretty happy with the concept so far. Now we just got to try to see it through, but we're making good progress now that the staffing area is in, and it should technically function properly. We just got to get the guest area in, and that would be the next episode you guys will see. And then we have to get all the education in, and we just got to do some detail work and some fine tuning, and then the hippo area should be generally done. I got to make sure that their habitat has all the necessities that they need. But from there, yeah, like it's just a big giant dome, and we just fill it. And I just want to decorate the front. We have that nice area in the front that I'll probably do something like, we'll bring back the tortoises. I think you can mix tortoises and lizards together, so maybe we'll try to mingle those two together. And what else? And then, yeah, the lines we have to figure out. So I have this big mountain. I don't really know what I'm doing with it, but the mountain gives us some good opportunities. If we manage to get the lions, the hippos done, and we still have beta time left over, well, then we can fill the mountain with some some of those like exhibits. Maybe try messing around with a safari ride or something, and just we'll see it when we get there. Essentially, I don't want to make any promises because the last time I had all these ideas, my park just crashed. But we should be good. Oh, we're done the speed build here. There's a look at all the painting. We're gonna jump in game and take a real-time look at it. So let's do that. All right, so here we are in game. You can see I have 150,000 left. We started with 250, so we spent $100,000, which is coming close to half our funds, because we don't want to drain our bank account. So we want to think about pushing play and letting the park start generating profits. I mean, I don't know, because the debt's going to be so bad, the upkeep's going to be so high when you're just like push play and there's no guests in the park and everything is demanding food and stuff. So maybe we want to spend every last dollar and let the thing go into debt and build back out. That'd probably be it'd be better than losing whatever money we had left, right? So yeah, maybe we just want to try and spend the last 150,000 and pray to God that this park climbs out. We do have the possibility of taking out loans in a worst case scenario, but last time we did that, it broke the game. So yeah, here it is. It's looking pretty cool. We have a wooden pathway over top. I still want to build my own custom gazebo thing, walkway, like a overhead coverage in case, you know, whatever. It rains, gives people shade, all that stuff. So it's big and sprawling. And there's a lot of viewing capabilities from here on both sides, obviously, and as well as over here on this platform. We have something down here. I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. I might actually just delete this arc, maybe even attach this to here so it flows right to here, if that makes sense. Just delete this little kink that's happening because I want to try to make an enclosure here. So when you come into the park, I named this park Zanzibar, by the way, Zanzibar Zoo. I just like the sound of that, and I don't know. I was like, what rolls off the tongue with Z, and then I thought of Zanzibar. So we named it Zanzibar Zoo. So maybe what we'll have here is a sign saying Zanzibar Zoo, and we'll do like a garden, and then you have the option to go down or all the way around, and then behind here is our tortoise enclosure or something, or we can turn it into, yeah, I mean, we'll figure it out. I'll decide, but there is a good amount of space here, so I think I can work something out here. It just seems a little bit excessive having a viewing area here and here, so I kind of want to demolish this and instead have maybe a couple staff facilities here and a small exhibit. So we'll see when we get there. For now, I do know what we have here just needs to be decorated up and around, and educational speakers and all that stuff. We got to fill the enclosure. And oh yeah, let's take so I have a thing over here, but we're gonna save that for the next episode. It is decorated in there somewhat. All the basic, like you can see the rock work's done, like all the meat is there. We just need to add the garnish. So yeah, here we need to do the same thing here, dress this up a little bit. That's a quick, easy job, but this is where the employees go down. And I want to just put a few rocks in here, paint it a little bit, put some shrubs and things. That's a quick job. That'll take me 5-10 minutes. And then it's done. So yeah, we have our all of our amenities. That's the what is this? So we can find out. Quarantine. So we have a quarantine there, a large keeper hut, a veterinarian, and a big staff room. Very large staff room. Now hopefully I didn't overdo it here, but I want these hippos to be taken care of very well. And they just come out here and boom, they're in this big sprawling area. So this gives us an opportunity to put our eating areas around here. We could put a few eating things here, some over here with the water, and then the keepers can come out and tend to all these things. And then we have a good spread coverage there. If a hippo's over here, he's not going to starve because he doesn't have very far to go to get to food. So we just got to line the backside up with food. And then we have a really cool area here where the hippos can come out to the land. The guests can see them. Spoiler, you can see that. And then when they're swimming in the water, yeah, you'll have to wait for the next episode for that. But this is looking kind of cool. It's very massive. It's monumental. It's freaking epic. Like I said, I got to figure out what to do with the barriers going around, and I think I'm going to try the null barrier. So, I mean, we could even... Am I on pause mode? Okay, thank God. We could try messing around with the null barrier. I was messing around with it earlier, and I just, like, lost $80,000, and I was like, Control Z, what happened? For some reason, it cost me a lot of money. See, that's my only worry there. is it's gonna tweak out because of the land. I might have to actually demolish that and put it back. But the idea here is that you line... Wait, that's not a null barrier. Maybe that's why it's not working for me. The idea is that you line the out... Why is it curving? Stop that. Oh, and I got angle snap on. That doesn't help. So we're just gonna line the outsides of this. So that doesn't really cost us money. Oh, that's good. I mean, it shouldn't. It's nothing. Why would you? But I swear to God, when I was doing this before, I lost $80,000, and I was like, what? So something might be messed up with the null barriers, which sketches me out using it. So yeah, can we hook it up to this? That's what I'm trying to do here. See, my worry is I got to tear that down. No, it won't let us. But that's all right. You know, we can continue the null barrier underwater. You know what? I might be able to just stick it to the glass here. No, it wants to go to a snapping point. Well, that works. I don't like it. It's being very finicky right now. Don't think we have a choice. We have to snap it to the glass, and that still broke it. It's freaking out. It wants to go on top of the water. I don't know why. You know what? We'll just do this. We'll just bring it across the top of the water. That seems to be giving us better luck. So I just snapped it to the brick wall there somehow. Let's see if we can get this one to go. Boom. Now, in theory, if we edit barrier, we should have a full loop. Look at that. And now I can make this habitat perimeter. Yes. But my only concern is if I bring it up, it brings that brick wall up. Oh, I'm silly. I can just take that out of the selection, can't I? What? What the heck is happening here? Is this connected or not? What is it doing? It wants to like move the whole... Stop that. Edit barrier. Grow that. Okay, we just had to restart here. All I'm trying to do, for whatever reason, just to play it safe, bring that null barrier up. So it kind of... Oh, look at our cache going down. See, I knew something was happening with that null barrier. The null barrier is free until you start bringing it up. Huh. And I don't think it serves a purpose for bringing it up at all. Very interesting. Okay, that should be fine then. Barrier status 100%. See, now is there a way... See, it doesn't tell me the land area of the barrier. Fix. Marked as not a habitat boundary. Habitat... There. Habitat perimeter is on. 18,000 square meters. Holy moly. And... Oh, it's got to calculate the water. Only 6,700 meters of water. That's not enough. Well, now it's a learning experience for us. We do need we need a little bit more water, to be honest. I might be able to just like add a couple ponds or something. Well, let's do that. Okay, not the best. I just gotta paint it. I'm not sure exactly what the hippo wants in terms of distribution until I get the hippo in there. But generally speaking, I remember from the last one, they wanted a little bit of grass, lots of mud, some rock. Now, hopefully this parameter gives them enough rock because I don't want to have to paint the rock down on the ground. So hopefully it takes into account this. And that's kind of why I was like skeptical and I wanted to have the fence all the way around the top. But if that happens, the keepers are going to want to try to get in from the top unless I can somehow bring the fence down to here and link it in. But then you get this like weird freaking chin strap on there. And I don't like that. So now if we recalculate, it gave us 8,000 water. We could probably do another pond over here. Let's just, let's take out our water, but expand this little area. All right, 10,000 water, 9,000 water, 10,000 land. That's a good distribution. Now, I calculated we would need about 15 and 15. So, I mean, for a full herd. And now it's just an estimate. This is more than enough, though. Like, we can do hippos with this area, no problem. Now, yeah, let's just get this painted in. There we go. I think that's a pretty good perimeter. Now... If I would have brought in the barrier up top, it would have probably given us an extra 1,000 meters in theory, but I don't think that's actual roamable land because they can't get up the wall. So I think this is sufficient. And it's a connected barrier. It counts as a loop. So that's awesome. Like if we click on this, we have a barrier and I like that. So our hippos can't get out. I don't think a hippo can climb that wall. Plenty of water. I mean, these ponds are very makeshift. I wish I did a little bit of a better job on them. I mean, I'm going to touch up the painting and stuff a little bit more once the hippos are actually in here. It doesn't look too bad, though. The hippos really do like a lot of water. But these are more the shallow ponds, so they can go in here and dip. The babies can have a little... it's the baby pool, essentially. They're not going to be able to actually swim in here. Not very well, at least. The little ones, maybe. But this, they can really go for a dip. So pretty stoked to show you guys the interior where the guests go. You can see a pathway going across there. It still needs to be decorated. So after this video is done, I'm gonna probably, we'll see. I might go work on it. Maybe I'll work on it tomorrow. I've been at it for a bit today. This did take quite a while to do. You guys saw the speed build, and you know, took a little bit longer than what you guys saw. That was 8 times speed. So I'm very happy with the way the enclosure turned out, or not the enclosure, but this area. Like I said, I'm gonna put a couple of little things to dress this up. Guests don't come in down here. It's the beta, so I'm not gonna dress up every single corner because yeah, it's gonna be lost in 6 days or something, 5 days, I don't know. So we're just gonna try and see how far we can get and try to go for bulk. So got to do something about the guests not falling down. I think the quick solution is to do railings on ground. I just don't like how it rails both sides, but that's better than doing a fence all the way around. That could, well, we could take a look at that. Let's see. So there would be like that, but then they have to look through chain link fences, and that's gross. It sucks. Aesthetically though, I like it. It looks good. But if we go with the railed paths, we can just put some bushes and scatter a couple things. We'll have some informational stuff, so the perimeter will get filled a bit. I do like the way that fence looked. And what else do we have for options? Because it's just aesthetics. Like technically, I could even do like a hedge, but that's just ridiculous on red rock. And then you lower these. That's silly. Wood's an option. I'm not mad at that wood, and the guests should still be able to see over. But I don't like it line of sighting us even slightly, because when you're standing here, you do have a better view than here. It really does line of sight you a bit. More so than if we were to do railed paths, right? That's not bad. I mean, guests could technically climb over that. It's definitely not safe in comparison. I mean, they could climb over this too. This is definitely like the safest route, and it doesn't look half that bad. But I just hate being like, oh, look at this. It just looks like a jail. Freaking prison. So, I mean, this doesn't look too bad. I'll figure it out. I'll have to weigh the pros and cons here and decide. Hopefully I figure that out soon. My goal right now is to get back down here and finish the decorations and really get the polish up. I really want it to be nice in there, because that is the main viewing area for this. We need to build a gazebo up top here, fill up our decorations up and around, just touch up this a little bit, and I think from there just get the hippos in and you know, start worrying about the lion enclosure, and then we can come back to some of these other things and polish it up as we go, because we need to get our lions in if we want to make money, and we need to do that before we run out of cash. So hopefully I can spend another 50,000 here or less on the hippo enclosure, move over and spend the rest on the lion enclosure, get our necessities in, and get this park thriving again. And hopefully it's profitable and we could start building up some new areas. Boom. That's the plan, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you thought of the giant hippo den down in the comments below. And yeah, I'll see you in tomorrow's episode where we work on the enclosure, or the viewing area. Boom. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe for more daily Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster videos. And if you'd like to support the show, please do check out my Patreon page. Links are down in the description below. All right, everyone, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye now.